How many of you run your own business right now? Cool, all right. So this is so important for you. How many of you want to run your own business someday? All right, so that means you're not yet started, but you want to do it, right? So this skill is important. So 八字, use 八字 for this aspect here, all right? Now, even if you have no intention of starting your own business or running your own business, do you want to succeed or not? Who wants to succeed? Cool. Then you need help from other people.
Just before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever we release new videos.
So how do you see it? First, you got to get a chart. This is a destiny chart. Let me show you. While I'm talking, you print out all your team members' charts. There are only 3 parts in the chart that is primarily important for you. If you want to look at a person's basic character, this is the point that you read. There's a day master here, and you can get one of the books and read up on the personality of that person. But personality is not so important for your business or your career goals. The most important part for your business and career goals is listed at the bottom of your chart. If you take this chart and go down, it's right here. Okay? So when you print out your charts right now, you look at 2 sections. Number 1, here, this is called the 5 structures. And number 2, this part here, where you see these bars here, this is your talent and abilities. Okay? This is where you find where you can produce the best skills and excel in those skills and then achieve, the greatest wealth that you can. It's always in this section here. Okay. Now, let me tell you this, yeah? When you start your life, just because you got something of a positive element like a percentage of 80 or 90 or 100 there, does not automatically mean you're good at something. Because this chart can belong to, for example, a 3-year-old kid. A 3-year-old toddler having this chart has not developed those skills and talents yet. You might see a bit of that nature in that person, but not yet developed. Here's the thing, some people whole life never develop their talent, right? You could be up to 70 years old and not activate any of these talents at all. So activating this your destiny is a matter of what? Choices. You need to make certain decisions in favor of your talents. Okay? So as parents, you can send your kids to schools specifically with subjects that help them, develop those talents, right? Because now you can send them to study a skill that is associated with developing some of these hidden potential in their charts. Remember we said earlier on, some people are more geared towards being entrepreneurial. Some people are more of a, maybe it's a skilled professional, have a certain skill, right? Some people are better at operating something, right? They're better at thinking, operating, and calculating stuff. Basically, you're a behind the scene person. Okay. Now, how many of you have in your chart here, the wealth and output element is, one of these are the highest in your chart? How many have this? Okay. If wealth and output is the highest in your chart, basically, you don't like to be controlled by people. You like to do your own shit. You are better off doing your own business. Okay? If those 2 elements are high, it's your nature to do that. Okay? You like to be in control. You want to be in control of your time and freedom, and you want to do your own thing. If you are, the output element is very high in your chart, would you want to go and hire or work together or partner with another person whose also output element is high? Then you have 2 different ideas, 2 persons struggling, trying to be the dominant force in the business. Okay? That will be a big problem. Everyone in charge of sales, no one in charge of operating. Going to be a big problem. So how do you find the operators? How do you find someone who is good at making sure things run? Like for example, we have an event like this, someone must be in charge of making sure that I have a stage to walk on, that they put the staircase here, for example, making sure the screen works, that everyone's in line, what time we're going to start, logistics and stuff, make sure the books are there. The operations, the person is someone who is controlling all this behind the scenes stuff, right? Now, can a person with high output element do that? High output will take shortcut. How many have high output? Yeah, you take shortcut, right? So, wealth element things, what is the cost benefit analysis for this? Right? You analyze whether or not it's profitable to do this or profitable to do that. If it's not so profitable for me to spend my time there, I probably won't do it. Okay, so these are the business guys, right? They think, let's increase revenue. You should put these two guys, one in charge of the money aspect, the other one in charge of sales, making sure sales well. Who should be in charge of all these things? The operations guy, all right? So you look at where the resource element is high. Resource element are good for people with facts, figures, and data. They're better at looking at numbers. They're looking at behind the scene calculating. They're very careful, sometimes too careful. How many resource is very high here? Okay, if your resource is high, you need facts, figures, data. You think a lot before you start. Sometimes think too much. Now, what are they good for? 好穩陣嘅, very careful. So you want people like this to be in charge of numbers, for example, the data, right? Look through the finance, make sure the calculation is right, make sure the thing behind the scenes, so they can run the figures. You need someone with the influence structure that is high to be in charge of operations, because they follow rules, they follow systems, they follow SOP. Okay? So if these two elements are the highest in your chart, what do you think you should be doing? Work for other people. Okay? How many of you have these two is very high in the chart? Either one. Cool. Right? If this two is high, working in a structured environment is best for you. Structured, organized, systematic. That's what you need. If you start your own business, you're probably good at running the business. So let's say now, I want to start my own business. I have this structure. So what should I do? The solution is buy a franchise and run the system. Because in order to run a business from scratch, to start a business from scratch, you need ideas, you need creativity. And only these two, wealth and output, has the ideas, usually come up with the fancy ideas and creativity. So now you know two types of people, all right? And lastly, you need to look at this one, which is called companion. How many companion is high? This one like to talk to people. Talk a lot, ask people to do things. Okay? So, do you need these type of people in your business? Yes. You need someone to pull in the resources, pull in the people, rally the team and make people do stuff. So these guys, the companions, are the connectors. They connect to one another, they make things work, they talk to people. Sometimes they can do sales. They are basically good at connecting to resources, connecting to places, finding solutions, finding shortcuts, for example. These are the connectors. So there are 5 categories that you can belong to, all right?